World Cargo International, the experts in shipping to the Caribbean, with weekly sailings to Kingston, Jamaica, and fortnightly sailings to Trinidad, Barbados, Dominica, St. Lucia, and more. We can ship almost anything from personal effects to excess baggage to cars and vans and plant machinery. We can even supply containers and barrels direct to your home address. And collection is simple too. We simply come to you. World Cargo International, taking the hassle out of shipping. Pop in and see us at 55A Princess Street, Luton, LU1 580. Call us on 01582 733 711 or see us online at worldcargoint.com.
A very good afternoon and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on our episode of Empower Hour. We always bring Empower Hour where we invite guests to talk about issues that are affecting our community and also just to give you an update of what is happening out there, the good, bad, and so today I've got a very special guest, one of my good friends. We've worked together and have known each other for quite some time now. And her name is Veronica EBanks. She's done a lot in the community. I'm not going to tell you about it. I am just going to leave it to her to tell you all about what she has been doing. Let me just get her to join us in the studio. Good afternoon, V.
Good afternoon, Munya. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too. How you been?
Yes, really busy.
I know.
Busy. But doing the things I really want to do, which is
that's the thing, isn't it? When you do stuff that you love doing, it just flows naturally, and you don't have to really try too hard to get on with what you have to do, isn't it?
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you get to a certain age when you know what you want,
yes,
and what you definitely don't want,
yes,
in life. And
yes.
It's that, and having that freedom to do the things that I suppose maybe you'd put off, or you didn't have time to do when you were either raising the children, or maybe you're in employed by someone else.
Yes.
So I'm blessed that I'm now in a position where I can do the things, some of the activities that I want to do before I pop my clogs. There's things I need to do.
Well, if you can do me the honor of just introducing yourself to our listeners out there, because I know you, I mean, but for the people who are watching us and listening, if you just tell us a bit about who Veronica is.
Okay, right. So I'm of a certain age. I'm in my early 60s now. I came to Britain in the early 60s. I was sent as a baby to England to be raised by a family member. And that arrangement actually turned into an adoption, an informal or an unconventional adoption. And I went to school. I'm not going to say my childhood was happy, because it was traumatic. Mm-hmm. But I went to school. I developed a love for books, a love for writing, and those two things in essence became my escape, became my way of coping with some of the negativity that I was existing in and experiencing.
Right.
And then got married early, got married quite young, had 4 children, still married to the same man. I haven't killed him, and he hasn't killed me, praise God. We're still together.
It doesn't seem like it's going to happen, isn't it?
You know what? We mustn't be complacent. When it comes to lifelong partnerships and marriages, we can't be too complacent, because some marriages don't last. Once the kids go off to uni and then don't come back home, husband and wife are like, so what do we do now, kind of thing, and then they both go their separate ways. So got married, went into work, doing all casual sorts of things, and then decided to go back to school as a mature student, because I always had a curious mind. I always liked sciences, nature, And I had a kind of aptitude for it and maths later in life. So I went back as a mature student, did my degree in biological sciences and biotech, and then started working. I did some teaching, some visiting lecturer work. I worked in some labs. And what else? And then decided to go into more support work. I kind of felt that sitting in the lab behind a bench all day, or at a bench all day, wasn't for me. I wanted to be more interactive with people and to support the individuals. So left the teaching and went into the support side of things, because what I realized when I was teaching was that issues prevent people from learning and from progressing and from staying the distance, so issues. So I began to work with young people and students with issues. And really, really enjoyed that, and did lots and lots of training, and got into safeguarding that way, and became a personal guidance advisor first, then a safeguarding advisor, then a lead safeguarding person, and so on and so on. And then I took redundancy around 2014,
right,
and created a business, an independent consultant safeguarding training business, and went out there to support organizations, agencies, faith groups with safeguarding their staff. And it is part of me. So I've done that for many years.
Okay. You're still doing it now?
I am. Not so much this year, I must admit. When COVID hit, I kind of reevaluated everything and thought, do I really want to be driving up and down the country delivering safeguarding training?
Especially with all the illnesses that were going around.
Well, it was more like, I'm getting on in age. I can't do a 2-hour drive. I'm going to need a wee before that. It was a case of, do I really want to do this? And then driving back and being stuck on the M25, coming back from Hampshire and places like that. I just got to a place where I thought, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I think I'm going to leave it to the younger, more vibrant ladies.
So did you during the pandemic, the lockdown, did you have to drive all the time, or was it you could do some of it online? Because most businesses tend to switch things onto online.
I did. I did do some of that online, but I just wanted to explore something else. I just thought, as much as it's part of me, the safeguarding. I just wanted to kind of broaden my horizons and use some of my other talents and some of my other knowledge and my writing, because I've always wanted to. People who know me and have known me for a long time, when they've said, "Well, if money was no object, what would you do?" And I've always said, "I'd love to write. I'd love to write." And so said, so done. So I pulled out some of my old writings. I've actually found some of my work that I've never published, because what I would do, I'd write my poetry, I'd write my songs, I'd write my plays and my monologues, and I'd just tuck them away in my notebooks. My notebooks would just be put away. So I was in a pupil referral unit, and someone was saying, "Oh, I'm putting on a showcase for poets." I used to write poetry as well. And they said they're looking for poets to come on board.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met you, there was an event happening at the Carnival Arts, and you did a few of your poems, and that was absolutely amazing. That was mind-blowing. And that time for you to hear you say that you would want to do this more and more, it was something that I just thought, wow, this woman does a lot of things. Really, really inspired.
That's the creative side of me. That's the creative side of me, because sometimes, our 9 to 5, right? We're in our suits, we're all suited and booted, and we're in our 9 to 5. But then some individuals go home and bake cakes and sew and sing in choirs and go on theatre stages and I don't know, property. There's always things that people are doing outside of work.
Yes,
absolutely. But it just seems that the balance is tipped in favor of work.
Yeah, well, right? You have to make the money, isn't it, for you to be able to sustain yourself. If there's no money, then...
Exactly. And that's why a lot of us, our creativity side of our personality and our persona gets put on the back burner, because we are earning, we're having to pay those bills, we're having to buy those school shoes and buy those school uniforms for, and then if you've got 4 kids like I had, I had to contribute. I had to work and contribute something. We weren't destitute or anything like that, but I kind of felt that I wanted to do something positive and something that I wanted to do, not because I had to. But yeah, so a lot of women and men, and I do have a heart for women, because sometimes the women, they used to sew, they used to sing, they used to dance, they used to do whatever it was they used to do and enjoy. And then life got in the way and all of that got parked.
Yes.
Or some women have never ever tried the thing. Oh, I think I would love to be on the stage, or I'd love to, but they've never ever tried.
It's like you forget that part of yourself. Like you said, you have all those talents, but they've always been tucked away because you have to work. So it's priorities. You have to prioritize which one is at that time, and perhaps at a later age, at a later stage, when the kids are all grown and they've left, and you wondering what now.
Or you're wondering all those rolls of material that I packed away all those years ago. You may still have them, and all that sewing machine that you had when you used to.
Talking about sewing, I used to be really good in primary school. We used to do hand sewing. We didn't have sewing machines then. So I think it was Dee who posted the other time on the group that, is anybody interested in doing free sewing class? I'm like, yes, please.
Ooh, nice.
So I've picked that up, and it's my me time. I go and do that, and I feel good being with those women and doing something completely different from my job, and just having those girly chats and laughing and creating things with your hands. I actually feel good about myself. I made 2 cushions and they look really lovely.
Well done. Do you know what? Oh, I don't normally boast, and I don't normally big myself enough. I'm big on myself enough, I'm told. I'm always being told off. You just do things quietly and you don't kind of. But I used to make rugs. I made 2 rugs years and years ago. There was a rug company, I think it was called Ready Cut, and they used to sell these kits where you could make rugs. So you get all the bits of wool and the hook and the canvas with the pattern on it. And I made rugs. And you know what? I went up in the loft yesterday. Al went up in the loft yesterday. I did follow him, and then came down covered in cobwebs. And I threw one head wrap away because it. Anyway, I found one of my rugs.
Really?
A couple of bags. I'm going to just hold up part of it. I didn't even intend to show you this, but it's down here. I want to hang it up on the wall.
Okay.
I want to hang it up.
Let's have a look.
Oh, hang on. I've caught on my basket. Right, here we go. Right, let's see if I get the right way up.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
That way.
Oh, wow.
There she is. Oh.
It's quite a big one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think it was 50 something by 30 something.
Wow, that is
30 by 50 something. But yeah. And I've got another one, a child's one. It's got like a all yellow background with a tiger in the middle. But there's my rug that I made all those years ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm going to display it. I'm going to put it on the wall. I'm going to actually put it.
Are you going to start making some more, selling them, or?
No. It was for the time. It was for that time when I'd be sitting there in the evenings. The kids have gone to bed, and I just wanted something.
What can I do with myself?
Yeah, and just to take your mind off everything. And once you're sitting there doing it, and you're putting the bits of wool in, and you're putting it through and pulling it through, and you're just bearing it line by line by line, or bit by bit by bit.
Yeah.
And TV might be on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather do this than ironing.
I hate ironing.
So do I.
I hate ironing.
Ironing is just.
I always have to iron when my wardrobe is almost like no clothes to wear.
Well, I put everything away and then iron as I go, as I need. I don't do those hours and hours of standing ironing. And some people say, well, put the TV on and stuff. No, because when I tried that, I ironed creases in.
Oh,
I think I creases in clothes.
I think I should start doing that. Iron as you go.
Yeah, I just iron as you go. I'm not bothered. And
Mm.
I know people are, very, very particular about sheets and so on.
Yeah.
Put it this way, if the duvet's ironed,
Mm. That's fine. Yeah.
the ones you're lying on, why? But
Isn't
anyway,
it?
that's just me. Each their own. Each their own, because I know people who iron everything.
That we do is just putting too much work on ourselves sometimes and just thinking you can actually do without little things like that, isn't it?
Of course. Did anyone ever win the Nobel Peace Prize for ironing?
No.
There you go.
That's
there
true.
You go. The odd crease now and again. If it's under a jacket, who's going to see?
Nobody.
There you go.
Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
Practical.
Wow. V, let's talk about your writing now.
Right.
How did I know you've done the poems like you said, and you've been putting them away, you write stuff and then putting them away, but you've now started writing books.
Yeah, putting stuff in the public domain. Because when you publish something, you're literally putting something out into the public domain. Now, this isn't the first. The book that we're going to be talking about today, the Hysterectomy Chronicle, is not the first book that I've been involved with. I've been involved with, as you are well aware, life in a lockdown, 2020. That's right, behind closed doors. So the idea was mine, and that book is out there. Yes, Dee Bailey, the lovely author, the main author, Dee Bailey, because it's her group of ladies. But the idea was mine. So that book is out there. And
I remember that day when it was just posted on the group. Why don't you write a book? I'm like, you what? Write a book.
But I remember saying to the when I gave the brief out, I said, okay, so just if you're stuck for what you want to be involved, but you're stuck for an idea of what to include in the book, what about writing about what was happening before COVID?
Yes.
Then what is actually happening now? Now we're in lockdown. We've never been in lockdown before. What's happening now with us? And then what are your hopes going out of lockdown? Because lockdown's not going to last forever. So what are you hoping for? So that was like the main skeleton of the brief.
That really helped me, because just let's write a book to me was okay. About what? So when you broke it down like that, I was like, oh, okay, I can do that.
And 1,000 words.
Yes.
Remember? 1,000 words. That
was quite interesting, and it was the first time I've ever written something with a group of women that, instead of us meeting on the Zoom meeting that we did, we actually put down our experiences, our journeys in those two books that we did, which is
because there's now 2 books.
Yes,
Life Out of Lockdown.
Yes.
2021.
Yes.
Yeah. Outside of, what is this? The last bit? Out of closed doors or beyond?
Beyond closed doors.
Oh, beyond closed
doors. Open doors. Oh, I can't remember now.
Are you in book 2, Monia? Because I'm not in book 2. I'm not in book 2.
I am.
Oh, okay.
I am in book 2.
Okay. Well, 2 books. Okay. So look out for them. Listeners, do look out for those 2 books. They are fantastic. And you'll see different insights.
You can find them on Amazon. Just type in Life in a Lockdown and also Life at a Lockdown.
And you'll find them. Well done, ladies. So coming back to books and writing.
Yes.
So this year I happened to go up in the loft and found a box with some writings, notebooks and so on. And I just happened to be going through, and I found a journal that I'd kept when I had my hysterectomy. I had a hysterectomy about 12, I lose track, but it was many years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And I found it and I thought, and I looked through it and I thought, oh, wow, it brought back memories. And I thought, I wonder if this could help other women or individuals who are curious about hysterectomy, had a hysterectomy, faced hysterectomy, and maybe through fibroids, because that was my reason. That was what happened to me, why I had a hysterectomy. Well, my experience ended in hysterectomy because I had a multitude of fibroids. And I thought, a voice said, oh gosh, it's a bit intimate. Ooh, you know, you don't really.
It must be. I'm actually looking forward to reading the book. I can't wait to get hold of the book and, you know, just have an idea of what you went through. Because when we talk about women, especially fibroids, there is a lot of us, especially Black women, who suffer from fibroids.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of us out there would be, possibly you've been given that option and you keep thinking, no, I don't think I want to do that, not yet. And how do you get to decide what makes you come to that point to accept that this is what's going to happen to me?
Right. I think for a lot of women, the decision is made when things become intolerable.
Yeah.
The pain becomes intolerable. And there are many reasons why women will have a hysterectomy, not just fibroids. I mean, there are other reasons: cancer, endometriosis, adenomyosis, prolapse. There are other reasons.
There are other reasons, yes.
There are other reasons. But I think for some women, when life becomes intolerable, you know, and then there are some individuals who would rather not take a surgical route for, you know, to address the problem. They want to explore other options.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but for me, I was given two options, and I had to decide. But the reason I'd gone to the medics in the first place was because something had happened, and I thought, this is intolerable. I can't
live like this.
I can't do this anymore. And I went, and I kind of chart all the processes that I went through. And can I just say, my experience wasn't straightforward. Right? But I think I'm going to maybe write a follow-up, because I ended up having to go back into hospital for correction surgery.
Right.
And I can understand that there are some women who, for religious, cultural, may not want to go down that route. As you know, hysterectomy, for those who are listening who are not quite sure what it is, hysterectomy is the removal of the womb or the uterus in the female. And sometimes the associated structures, the fallopian tubes, the ovaries, and some of the cervix. Yes, you know, you go for your cervical smear, that little bit. Yes, at the end when they put the thing in, and then that little bit there, that's the cervix. Some women have that removed. I don't have a cervix anymore, so I don't go for cervical screening anymore.
Okay.
I don't have one. So that's what it is. I've kind of said some of the reasons, and some of the women why they may not want to go down that route. Maybe culturally, maybe in some cultures, childbearing and having
very, very important. That's what makes a woman, isn't it?
Exactly. In their opinion, that's the essence of what womanhood is. So to have that organ removed from the body, and that woman not being able to have more children or to have any children, a baby, right? It's a big thing.
It is.
It's a huge thing. And some women wouldn't even consider it. The doctor would say, well, your symptoms are showing this, this, and this is what we would recommend, and this is what we would advise. And some women would look at that and think, well, no way.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. So they will continue to live and to experience whatever adverse situation took them to the GP in the first place. They would rather live with it. Some people want to try natural remedies, even if it's a cancer thing. There are some women who, you know, would say, well, okay, I want to try a plant-based or some kind of alternative method to see if I can heal myself.
that's why I say that it's kind of a huge decision to make, and especially for us Black women coming from where we grew up in our cultures, things like that you wouldn't even go and even start thinking about it. And I think now, as we're progressing into the 21st century, things are really starting to take a big change. Or most of all the beliefs and the never done things, a lot has really changed. A lot has really changed.
Yeah.
So
Attitudes.
attitudes have changed. Yes,
Attitudes
the
have
way we,
changed. And
and we're
tolerance.
more educated as well.
Yeah.
We've learnt a lot, and
Yeah.
we've seen a lot. So I think perhaps our generation is the one that is going to break all the taboo barriers and cultural beliefs that I don't know.
It's happening. I do believe it's happening. Look at menopause. Who would have thought there'd be
We
programs
talked
on
about what
TV
we're talking about now, history,
about periods and menopause?
about things like that.
I know. Who would have thought? And then is it Spain? They're actually giving women period leave, menstruation leave.
Really?
That's what I've read. I need to fact check that, but I've heard that Spain have either brought in or are considering bringing in some kind of legislation or guidance around female menstruation and time off work and stuff.
Yeah, and I must say that a lot of men are starting to understand what a woman goes through sometimes when they're having their periods, especially if they suffer from pains during it and all the changes that happens in your body. I'm glad most men now understand when a woman says to you, you know what, I can't be bothered and I don't want, just leave me alone, I'm in pain.
Yeah,
So,
or I'm having a hot moment. You know, you just feel all the top of your lip going moist, and you're
yes,
just feeling this heat just surging up, and it's like, and then you politely say, "Is it okay if I open a window?"
yeah. And they're like, it's too cold, close the window. Like,
You put that
boiling,
cardigan.
come on.
Yes, you put that cardigan on. You've taken the cardigan off,
Take
or
it
the
off.
jacket. In my case, it's usually a jacket.
Yeah.
Take the jacket off, and then I'm there. I'm fine, and discreetly. You know what I used to carry for menopausal hot flushes. Sometimes during meetings, it suddenly starts. You knew it was coming. I'd have wet wipes, just
All
discreetly, and
right.
I just take one out, and I just gently just go like this, discreetly. And then there's me in the meeting, so I'm not even looking at anyone, but I'm just doing what I need to do, and it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Wow, the things that we have to go through is just absolutely mind blowing sometimes. Now let's talk about the book launch.
Right. So the book launch of the Hysterectomy Chronicle, and can I just add, ladies, men, listeners, it's a thin book. It's not a thick tome. It's a thin one because it's my journal. So it's not like, and it's over a period. And what I did, I collated the information when I felt well enough to write. I just wrote. So it's in months. So it charts over a period of months. And I've tried to keep the language accessible so that everyone can read it and understand. And I've tried to explain things in it. The launch. So the launch is going to be on September the 11th at 7 p.m. at Little Red Creative Studios in the centre of Luton Town. Yes. Literally just off the high street, right? Yes. Literally just off the high street near that West Bank. Yes. And the plan is, it's not going to be your ordinary standard book signing where you just arrive and then I'm just sitting there just signing books for 2 hours. There's going to be, when you arrive, you're going to have a free drink, which is courtesy. Guests coming in, they're going to have a free drink. There's going to be nibbles. We're going to have a panel. We're going to have a guest panel. And I'm going to be on the panel. We're going to have a panel of, I think there's 4 of us going to be on the panel. There's going to be a bit of entertainment. Not a lot. There's going to be just a little bit of entertainment and music. I'm hoping to have a DJ there.
Mhm.
musician, keyboardist, and a vocalist who said she'd love to come along and sing a few
Okay,
songs for us.
interesting.
Yes, the host is going to be Dee Bailey of
Yes,
Simply Dee's Events, who some
yes,
of you may know already. A
yes.
fantastic host. Dee Bailey will be the host of the evening. And yes, we are going to talk about hysterectomy, fibroids, and all of the stuff that's related to that, to those
I
topics.
am so looking forward to it, and I just can't wait for the day to, just see you all ladies again, and we talk about things that matter to
Yeah,
women, and
yeah.
have a bit of fun as well whilst we're at it.
Yeah, because the key thing that I want to get out of this, when I decided to publish, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, sorry, in the forefront of my mind, I was thinking,
Mm,
hold on a minute, but Black women, in terms of health equality and health disparities,
mm,
our outcomes are not the same.
no,
Our outcomes,
not
whether it be
at all.
maternal health and postnatal and antenatal uh, death and so on and so on, our
Mm,
outcomes are different. And there was one study that made me sit up and think, what's going on? In
mm,
New York, they did a study, I think it was antenatal care of
mm,
women, Black
mm.
women and white women. And when they compared, because they were matched in terms of socio status.
Status,
So
yeah.
these people were matched, but yet still the Black women's outcomes were worse,
Wow.
even though they were on the same earnings level
Earning level,
as
yeah.
the white counterparts.
Yeah,
They,
I, I think that's it goes back to what I said earlier on education. What have
yeah,
we been taught,
yeah, oh, yeah.
as Black women and as white women, and what
Mm,
is being offered to us out there? Do we know about these things? Which most of the time we don't know what is out there. So when we get together and we talk about things like this, it's somebody will say, "Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know this, and oh,
right,
I didn't know
right.
that."
Yeah,
So,
and it will help us see whether there has been any lapse in care and any
mm,
disparities. Because if we bring our information together,
mm,
then we can see whether there's any patterns, whether
mm,
there's any, oh, well, I wasn't told that. Oh, I
yeah.
was. Or,
Mm.
oh, if 5 Black women say they weren't told about, for instance, I don't know, all the options available to them, they
Yeah.
were only given one option.
Mm.
Why was that?
Why wasn't they told? Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and and, and the care, were they listened to? Did they have all their questions answered?
Mm.
Was the trust, or wherever they've gone for their operation,
Mm.
were they amenable to the woman
Mm.
saying, I'd like to see my uterus, I'd like to
Mm.
see something,
Yeah.
when what it looks
Yeah.
like, or when so there's lots of questions. I'm not going to say any more, because we're going to talk about this on the night, and I don't
Yes,
want to go
let's
into the book.
leave it
I
there
don't
for
want to go into the book.
now. Let's leave it there for now. We want people to come and
Yes,
really have a
tickets. Get your
get your
tickets.
tickets.
Get
Where
your
do people get
tickets.
their tickets? Be
Right, the tickets are on Eventbrite, and if they
okay.
type in book launch, the
Mm-hmm.
Hysterectomy Chronicle, it will come
Mm-hmm.
up, and
Right.
just get your tickets. And
If
remember,
I
in
can
the ticket price is your book. You'll get the book when you come.
Okay, if I can ask you, we bring the Facebook Live. If when we finish, if you can just put the link up for us there where people can buy the book, and then we look forward to seeing everybody there to come and just have a glimpse of what if this is something that's going to happen to you or somebody
Mm,
how do you talk to them, how do you support them?
yeah,
These are
it's
other
all of
things.
that. Yes, it's
Yes,
all of that, isn't it? And how we support ourselves as a sisterhood,
exactly.
right? So my
Yeah.
sister's going in for this operation. It's huge. It's a big
It is.
operation. When you see the paperwork that you have to sign,
Mm,
it's a high risk operation.
mm, mm,
The procedure, right? So
mm,
you have to sign these documents,
mm.
literally saying that you are aware that. Anyway, I'll leave
Yes.
it there on this.
Okay. All right, V, we can talk and talk and talk. I can talk to you for hours and hours.
That sounds like that song, that Mummy Long song, hours and hours.
So for now, let's leave it here. And I would like to catch up with you after the book launch. Then we can, talk about what happened on the day, and possibly we could have a read through of some of the chapters in your book as well, because people would have had a chance to buy the book and have a read through, and then we can hear what everybody's thoughts are out there about the book.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. But if you don't come, guys, you're not going to know. You're not going to be part of it. So if
you're not going to know.
You're not going to know.
Behind, yeah.
Exactly. So please, we matter. Our Black women's health matters. Everyone's health matters, but our health matters because we are the ones not getting the same outcomes. And if we don't talk about our stuff, our procedures and what happened to us, how are we going to know whether we got the right treatment? Were you given the right advice?
Yes.
Right? As opposed to others. So if we never talk, we've got this stiff upper lip because that's how we've been raised. You don't talk your business.
You don't talk your business to people you don't know.
Right.
That's the thing, isn't it?
But we have to come to a place where if Black women's health is, if we are experiencing inequality in healthcare, we need to know what kind of healthcare we've been getting. And by talking to each other and amongst ourselves, we will gather
figure out
information.
Yeah.
And then we can then use that information to say, well, look, X number of women here, this is what's happened. It's not an isolated incident. This has happened. So,
all right, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And you've been listening to Veronica EBanks, and we're going to have the book launch of her book, which is the Hysterectomy Chronicles. And we've put the details on our Facebook. It's just a matter of you just clicking the link and getting your ticket, and we will see you there. Yeah. Thank you very much for taking the time to join me this afternoon. I know we had a few quibbles earlier on, and with all the guys that we managed. So thank you very much, V, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks. Bye.
All our listeners out there, you take care. Stay safe. COVID is still out there, so just take care. Yeah. Another word from our sponsors, and then we will bid you goodbye until next time. Thank you.
World Cargo International, the experts in shipping to the Caribbean, with weekly sailings to Kingston, Jamaica, and fortnightly sailings to Trinidad, Barbados, Dominica, St. Lucia, and more. We can ship almost anything from personal effects to excess baggage to cars and vans and plant machinery. We can even supply containers and barrels direct to your home address. And collection is simple too. We simply come to you. World Cargo International, taking the hassle out of shipping. Pop in and see us at 55A Princess Street, Luton, LU1 580. Call us on 01582 733 711 or see us online at worldcargoint.com.